Another football league has finished their season.
Early.
Welcome to episode 7 of the week's Goal Line Report.
So, we've been covering the CoFL, the Continental Football League, since the start. It's been like one of our day one league. And, we've poured our interest and everything into this league. We've watched all the games we could. We've covered them, and we've been there for this. And it's sad, but the league just played its last game with San Antonio beating Tall City.
Yeah, we had high hopes but tempered expectations. We hoped that they would find a spot
When there's a startup league, you hope for the best and you expect the worst.
We got a little bit of both.
Yeah.
So it wasn't all bad news, but they have finished the season. They decided to wrap it up with the state of affairs, with the league. There wasn't really much benefit to playing a postseason or championship game or anything else. So basically, they just called it after this last week and said they'll focus on next year.
And San Antonio they're trying to get like a whole new Toros facility, just for the Toros, and they decided they were going to call it a day for the season, and the league decided that they would do the same. So it ended with that Toros win. What did you say it was, 45-24?
Yeah, and so that was, the real news as far as this week goes was them finishing the season, and then like you mentioned, San Antonio, it was 46-24, something like that against Tall City. They kind of just jumped out to a commanding or lead, and saw it through to the finish.
So week 5, it did have another game with the Texas Herd losing to the Texas Syndicate. In the Syndicate, I'll give them props. They were the second best team in my opinion. They really held their own against everybody. Finished with 3-2, I think, something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, San Antonio, obviously the best team in the league by far. 5-0, didn't allow many points at all. They allowed 35 games, which is pretty amazing. I mean, they started with 0 in 3 games, but you kind of unwind a bit. It's very sad to see that happen, but you just gotta move on. I mean, as an old football fan, you'll probably recognize that this isn't a new thing, with XFL in 2020, that finished their season early due to COVID, and the AAF in 2019, instability. Just alternative football is always collapsing mid-season, and it's one of the riskiest things to become a fan on.
Yeah, so the spin, the way they're projecting is that they're working towards next season.
Yeah.
We'll see if they can regroup and come back together stronger. They've got a core of 4 teams, maybe not the 4 teams we expected, but Cincinnati and the 3 Texas teams. If they can build around that, then maybe they can come back first.
I say they try and bring in Indianapolis back, because there was definitely some interest in there.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe try and get a Ohio Valley in. And I'd say, I don't care if they get shut out every week. Texas Herd, they play every week. They deserve to be. Yeah, they deserved it. I mean, they showed up and they lost every game, but they still played. They played their hearts out. So I'd say they do deserve a spot in the league.
Yeah, I think it just comes down to the league management at this point. Can they regroup and find a way forward, or is it, insurmountable challenge that sees the folding of the league?
I wouldn't even be shocked if it's something like the Ohio-Texas Football League with them just 4 teams in Ohio, 4 teams in Texas, or something like that.
Maybe. I think only time will tell. I think that it's going to kind of go dormant for a while before we kind of see how things shake up, but we will be on the watch for the future of the Continental Football League and keep any updates on that with the podcast.
Just kind of going to shift here because there isn't much more to be said on that topic, I'm guessing.
No, I think we beat that dead horse.
Yep. So news came out, obviously, if you're an NFL fan, which I'm guessing if you like football you are, at least a bit. And Lions cornerback, Terrion Arnold, a week ago, I think, he was arrested for a pretty decent amount of felony.
Yeah, it was
4 counts of kidnapping, I think, and 4 counts of something else.
Maybe assault or battery. I don't have it in front of me. Yeah,
something like that.
But yeah, exactly. And so allegedly it was against some men that he felt had stolen from him.
So just get a little bit of background. Obviously, if you're an NFL fan, you probably don't know every single player in the league. Terran Arnold was I think, 2023 first round pick by the Detroit Lions, and he played 2024, 2025, and 2026 with them. And based off what he was pretty mid to bad tier. Like he wasn't very good. Um, but news came out. I think it was between yesterday and today, as of like June 29th, at the time of recording for this.
Yeah, so just
He was released by the Lions.
yeah, so a correction there. I think he was drafted in 24, and that was his first year. But in either case, so a guy with all the promise in the world coming out of college, first round draft pick, couple years under his belt, and just really
He just threw it away.
threw it away. I think, there's a degree of pride that you have, being that elite level of athlete, and I think he let it get to his head,
Yeah.
and, you know, couldn't abide someone stealing from him, so he had to
Allegedly
go
stole
after
from
him, allegedly, right?
Yeah, we don't even know if they stole. This guy might be a nut job or something.
but yeah, so it's had a few twists and turns, but the most recent is him being released by the Lions. So
Yeah.
former first round draft pick out the window. Not, I mean, with that in mind, he definitely was not the best cornerback out. As me and Sam were talking about, his quality left a lot to be desired. If you look on PFF where it shows like defensive grades and everything, he was near the bottom.
Yeah.
So it says that his defensive grade for the 2025 season, 97th among 114 qualified cornerbacks. So it may have just been excuse the Lions needed just to let him go. But he finds himself on the outside now.
I'd say unless you're given a distinct reason, you keep up with the rookie for 3 years. I think that is what you should do, unless they're either really bad or they give you a reason to get rid of them.
Especially as a high draft pick.
Yeah, Arnold very much gave them a reason to let him go.
And
he didn't do good, and he just got arrested.
And that might be the least of his worries right now if
Yeah.
he's facing life in prison.
Yeah, he is.
So the NFL could be just a minor thing compared
UFO
to
Houston Gamblers sign him tomorrow.
but yeah, so that was a little news, NFL worthy. Kind of unfortunately what grabs the NFL headlines more often than not in the off season, but that's what we saw there. But shifting to a league that is currently playing.
So, like we did last week, we introduced you guys to the AFL and CFL, and we're just gonna go over the CFL. The CFL. Oh my God, there's two C leagues. There's only one letter difference. Sorry. But the CFL, the Canadian Football League, we've been covering that last week, and here we are again.
Canadian Football League.
Yeah.
And so with I think they have 9 teams.
Yes.
4 games. So eight of the teams played. And so we've got 4 results here. And let's kind of just run through those.
So first off, the Edmonton Elks beat the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, 2 Western Division teams. So just a quick little thing. Edmonton finished number 9 last year. They were the worst team, and they've been basically the worst team since 2021 when they rebranded as the Elks. And right now, they're on top of the league. They're 3-0. People, I saw videos talking about the Edmonton Elks are fake. They're 2-0 and they're like they got lucky, but now they're 3-0. And I think it's a little more than luck. I think it's a little bit of skill in there.
Yeah, they're making a statement.
So I do like the Blue Bombers just a bit. And they're 1-2 right now. So it's a little bit sad. So then going down, the Argonauts beat the undefeated Saskatchewan Roughriders.
Formerly.
Yeah. So it was East and West. So the Argonauts won 40-31, I think. It was,
yeah,
I'd say a little...
Well, 40-34.
Okay. It was a little bit of an upset, I guess, because Toronto was like 1-1 or something like that. And then moving over, Calgary Stampeders beat the BC Lions 41-33. Which was an interesting game. The 2 Western teams. And they put on a good show right there. And then the final game was the Alouettes and Red Blacks, where the Alouettes won 37-35.
37-35. So close game there. Red Black still not able to find a win. And the same goes for the Lions. So both of those teams played hard, but were not able to come out on top.
This
so
is probably why I was trying to get Matt Corral from the UFL.
That could be, but yeah, both winless right now. Edmonton, the only undefeated team left currently.
And they will remain undefeated.
And so at this point, most teams, they've played 3-4 games. And in the CFL, they play 18. So we have a long way to go.
Yeah, it goes into the NFL season. So just telling you guys, you NFL fans that are watching this, you gotta commit to this league, or you're not committed to, like, it's NFL or CFL. Like, you gotta split your viewership, I guess.
But it's definitely something to be keeping an eye out for right now, especially if you like offense. These teams put it up each week. And
3 downs, just gotta air it out.
Yeah. And
just kaboom.
Looking ahead, I think next week, Elks are going to win again. They play the Lions next week. So I think we can lock that one in. Elks 4-0 start. You hear
so week 5
here first.
Argonauts and Stampeders on Thursday. That's pretty close. Rough Riders, Red Blacks on Friday, Elks, Lions Saturday, and Blue Bombers, Tiger Cats Sunday. So the Tiger Cats are pretty decent in my book, I'd say. You know, in Hamilton, that's our closest team. That is my favorite team in the East. I like the Elks and the Tiger Cats. Those were the first teams I was really introduced to. And hopefully you like them too, right, Dad?
Which one is that?
The Edmonton Elks and Hamilton Tiger Cats.
I haven't really latched on.
You gotta pick one. Hamilton's our closest one.
Well, I mean, but it's still.
Who cares?
Yeah, I haven't picked a team yet. So we'll see how that goes. But that's off to how the CFL has gone this week and what we might see here in a couple days.
Yeah.
So one of the things that you do during the off season is you find ways to have interesting football conversations to keep it going. And I think that one of the most interesting debates to have is
top 10 NFL quarterbacks.
Yeah, who's the best quarterback? You know, let's get them out there, let's rank them, and let's look at it.
So do you just want to take turns? I'll go one, you go one, or do you want to just go down the list?
So what we did is we're saying, hey, this coming season, 2026, not last year, not 5 years ago or 10 years ago, but 2026, who are going to be the top 10 quarterbacks. So we each put our list together based on, you know, what we anticipate. And so I
didn't pick my favorites.
I think we start at 10 and just, you know, go back and forth and reveal what we think there.
All right, I'll start. And I had 10. I had Baker Mayfield. Well, I'm a Buccaneers fan, and just he kind of fell off a bit around week 5 after looking like he was going to be the MVP by far. But I still love the dude. He is my Bucs quarterback, and now I'll just let you list your 10.
Yeah, so mine is Jaden Daniels. I think, you know, his rookie season really showed a lot of promise. Last year, injuries really hampered things. Assuming that he's injury-free, I think there's the potential for him to return to that form and, you know, maybe even climb way higher than 10th place. So I think this guy is high risk, high reward, but I think he can really get in the top 10.
It is. The NFC East is like, it's turning into kind of the NFC South. Like, any team can literally win it. And I could see one of them finishing with like 8 and 9 and winning the division, just like NFC South last year. So I could see the Commanders doing it if their just defense stepped up a bit with like Sonny Styles and all them joining.
I think it'll be a compelling division, but I think it'll take a winning record. But let's move on to
number 9.
To number 9.
So number 9, he might be a little low for y'all, but like I just need to see a little bit more of him. I put Sam Darnold. You know, he had pretty bad seasons before with like New York, Carolina, San Francisco, but he had that 14-3 Minnesota season and the 14-3 season with Seattle where he just won the Super Bowl. I'm pretty sure he's one of the only 2 quarterbacks ever to go 14-3 back-to-back, joining Tom Brady.
Yeah, it's hard to shake the stink of being a draft bust. So when you come in with such high expectations and you don't live up to those initially, it's hard to change people's opinions when they already have one established. And I think that's kind of what's happened to Sam Darnold. But again, like you mentioned, the last two seasons, he's been exceptional. Like he's really found ways to win with two different teams, and two great seasons. That's more than a lot of quarterbacks have. So
I say one more season, and if he does good, I could see him in the top like five.
yeah, that would. I mean, it'd be hard to argue if he can continue that consistency. For me, I picked Baker Mayfield.
My number 10.
He's a guy that's going to go out there. He's going to play with his heart. He's going to really leave it all on the field. Win or lose, like he's not going to hold anything back. And I think even if he's not elite, that gets him a top 10 place. So I have him at number 9.
Just a reminder, Baker Mayfield and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers beat the Seattle Seahawks, one of the 3 teams to do so.
Yeah, when he's on, he can win.
Yeah, so a team that missed the playoffs had a pretty bad record. They beat your Super Bowl champions. So just don't doubt him. Don't. He was good, and he is good.
Yeah, and I think that shows we both have him in our top 10s. But
Yeah.
moving on to number 8, who do you have there?
I have Caleb Williams. I mean, he had a bad first year, I'd say, or at least mediocre. But he had a good year. But he had a good year last year. And it was nice to watch him, see him kind of grow into himself this year. He had that divisional game against the Rams where he really stepped up and that made that crazy pass to like Cole Kmet, I think, for that touchdown. But I could see him being in like the next 10 years being like a top 3 quarterback. Like he's really got a future, I'd say. I'd say the only reason I don't have him higher is his accuracy.
Yeah, he's been kind of like a love or hate guy. Like
Jordan loves.
he was the undisputed, number 1 quarterback, coming out of college, went number 1. And then, people kind of thought that maybe he wasn't living up to the hype, but then he gets a new coach, who's really able to kind of help him realize his potential. And,
Miss you, Ben Johnson.
and so we see a big emergence in season 2 that lands him on the list here for you. For myself, Justin Herbert, I have number 8. It's really hard to know where he should go because when you look at him, it's like this guy's good. But when you look at the team around him, you don't always see like the tools you need to have a good offense. And so it's hard to know how much of the blame he deserves and how much of it is just not having enough to work with. So I think with the right offense that the Chargers and Herbert, I think really can find success, but I don't think they've found the right mix yet. So I've got him here at number 8, but I think he could finish even higher, in the right circumstances.
Yeah. So going to 7, I think, right? I have Justin Herbert. So I do like the Chargers. I like them more than the Rams. And I've always, since I first watched the Chargers game, I've always been a fan of Herbert, and I've always trusted. Maybe I'm just a bit delusional with that, but hopefully his team can build around him. I know Harbaugh definitely wants to. There's something there. I know it. If he just had something. And I know everyone calls him the if man with him being like winless in the playoffs, but it really is what if.
And maybe this is the year he changes it.
Yeah.
I think it is. I think we'll see different results from this year. So, but let's move on. So that's your number 7. My number 7, Trevor Lawrence, and I kind of felt similar to Trevor Lawrence in that really good quarterback, maybe not the best situation. Back in Clemson, Clemson's biggest success was with him at quarterback. Then, coming into the NFL with Jacksonville was really a hard place to land, and I think only with the new head coach,
Liam Cohen,
have things really turned around. And I think, if that duo sticks together, I think that Jacksonville is going to be a force in the AFC. It's kind of emerge against some of these more established ones of the last few years, I think that Jacksonville is going to be a problem.
If they get a running back. I respect the choice, but I need to see at least one more year from Lawrence. He had one good year, and I don't fully trust him like that. Because, like, with Caleb, he had a mediocre last year, and he had a good one this year. But Trevor Lawrence, he was bad, like, his whole career until now. So just, I need to see at least one more year from him. Like, at least being decent. So going to 6, I have Jordan Love. And I'll just say this. I hate the Packers. I do not like the Packers. They're like one of my least favorite teams, like bottom 3 for me. But I know that Jordan Love is one of the best quarterbacks right now.
With all due respect, I think you're crazy. I don't even have Jordan Love in my top 10.
And I don't have Trevor Lawrence.
Spoiler alert, I know we still have a few picks left to go, but I think he's pretty average.
I don't think so. Maybe you should watch some more Packers games.
Maybe
it's just that defense that's selling.
Maybe he needs 4 more wide receivers that he can spread it out to. But yeah, I mean
he just lost like 2 or 3,
and he still has like 4 different ones.
It's gonna be like Matthew Golden as his starter.
I mean, there's more than Matthew Golden, but
you begin to list the people who've never existed before.
But yeah, Jordan Love. I mean, maybe he brings the Packers.
Yeah, he's gonna just throw to Jimmy Bartholomew all day.
But I don't think so.
I think you're crazy.
So and you probably, I think you do disagree with my number 6 because mine is Drake May.
Nope.
But let me ask you this: between Jordan Love and Drake May, who's been to the Super Bowl?
Okay, so first off, look at this. You want to know how many teams Drake May fought that had like 9+ wins? Like 1 or 2.
Just 1 or 2.
And it was the Bills, and they split 1-1. The Patriots didn't get the number 1 seed, and they lost to the Las Vegas Raiders and Pittsburgh Steelers.
And when it mattered, they won the AFC.
And when it mattered, they got their butt kicked in the Super Bowl, in one of the worst Super Bowls of all time. You saw them in the playoffs. They had to fight the Chargers, who basically have 2 players. So that's like 11-2. And basically, that's actually like 11-1. Because Herbert got sacked like 8 times. And so that ended bad, like 16-3. Like the Patriots couldn't even do anything themselves. It was the worst game I've ever watched. And then you go to the divisional, and lucky. But the Bills lost to the Broncos, and the Bo Nix, who was, mind you, way better than Drake May, broke his ankle. And the Patriots are in this frozen weather, and they win in a miracle, like 10-7, because they had to fight Jared Stidham, who, by the way, was being better than Drake May.
I mean, I don't think a quarterback that breaks his ankle kneeling is a better quarterback.
He didn't break his knee kneeling. You need to get your facts right, bro. That did not happen. He got hit. He broke his ankle.
Drake May, second-year quarterback. Who were his wide receivers last year? An old Stephon Diggs. This year, he's going to have Romeo Doubs.
He had the easiest schedule of all time.
A.J. Brown. Like, we're going to see the Patriots put up points this year.
We're going to see the Patriots finish 8-3, bro.
We're going to see Drake May as a top 10 quarterback.
He's not going to be good.
Top 6 quarterback.
No. I don't even consider him a top 20 right now.
So number 6 has definitely been the most contentious ranking for us so far. Who do you have at number 5?
Matt Stafford. Or Matthew Stafford, because his wife doesn't want us to call him that, because it's unprofessional.
Is that what she calls him?
Yes. She wants him to be the next Matt Ryan. I'm sorry, man.
So Matthew Stafford, number 5. And I think based on his career that's warranted.
Yeah.
I don't have him in mind just because of his
Because you're crazy.
And the possibility of him getting injured and not even finishing the season.
He had like a broken back and went into the season and won the MVP award.
We'll see if he can play a full season.
This guy.
Then he's got a legitimate shot at being top 10.
You've probably watched him your whole life. This guy he's good.
He is good.
Yeah, and he deserves to be top 10 other than people you have like Drake May and Trevor Lawrence. He's way better than both of them.
And if he's on the field, I would say he's a top 10 quarterback. But this is
Oh.
looking forward to the upcoming season, and call it just a gut feeling.
He's saying Ty Simpson's going to be the starter.
I don't think Matthew Stafford is going to play the whole season. And so based on
Wow.
that, I don't have him finishing in my top 10. But that would be the main reason for that. For me,
Watch out, he's got Jacoby Brissett at number 1.
I'm not that much of a Cardinal.
Oh, yeah, you are.
Caleb Williams is who I have at number 5. You mentioned him earlier. You have him at number 8. I've got him at number 5.
Mine makes more sense.
I think what he did for the Bears was really remarkable
You mean
last
Ben
year.
Johnson did for the Bears?
And yeah, Ben Johnson deserves a lot of credit, but it was what he did for Caleb Williams
Swept by the
that
Lions,
led to the Bears' success.
Swept by the Lions, the team that finished bottom in the NFC North.
But the Lions should have been the best.
Yeah, they should have.
And they weren't.
Yeah.
And part of that was Caleb Williams.
No, not really.
So
how did that have to do with anything?
Caleb Williams and the Bears emerged, made it to the playoffs. And okay, I'll give you a little bit of grace here because there's a difference in watching the Bears for the last couple of years versus, watching the Bears for the last 30 years. The Bears have been mediocre more often than not for a long time. So I think that I give a little more credit to Caleb and Ben Johnson, for what they were able to do, with Chicago this last year.
I say Colston Loveland.
And, I think that I think we're seeing another wave of quarterbacks here with Caleb and Drake May that are really going to bring some interesting...
Saying Drake May instead of Jaden Daniels is crazy. Like, you might as well just say Michael Penix and J.J. McCarthy instead.
I would love for Jaden Daniels to be at the top.
And he will.
But until I can see his level of play after his injury, I got to hold a little bit back there.
You'd come in, and every time you see a new quarterback, you're like, oh my god, it's Jamarcus Russell. You expect the worst out of every single rookie.
I mean, you never know. Until they prove it, you never know. I mean, there have been bust after bust over the years. So, I mean, Russell was one example. There are other examples too. But Caleb Williams, who I wasn't sold on, changed my mind. So I have him number 5. So I think
you're crazy.
There's levels to quarterbacks, and I think those that we've talked about are all pretty similar, but I think these next 4 are on a whole nother level.
I think your list is like that. I think my top 5 are all very close. I think Matthew Stafford's up there, bro.
So you put Stafford up there with the next 4.
Yeah, that's it.
I put these next 4 as like able to get to the Super Bowl. Like, just with their play, their performance, they can take a team there, just with their quality, their level of play. So let's kind of get into that then. So number 4, you have
Josh Allen. So I'm going to be 100% honest. I don't like him. I don't think he's good. And I'm just not a big Bills fan. Just haven't been really sold on them. And just... I don't expect much from them next year. Maybe that's and
that's justified.
Yeah.
They've been a team that dominates the regular season and then disappears in the postseason when it matters the most. And this past season, the path was wide open to the Super Bowl. Probably Josh Allen's
easiest way.
His best opportunity.
No Patrick Mahomes, no Lamar Jackson, no Joe Burrow. And you lose to the Broncos.
Yeah.
I mean, he beat the Jaguars, but like still, that was like a nail biter. Like, imagine being wide open, like a Super Bowl contender, like a favorite to win, and then you lose in the divisional, and you lost in the wild card. Like, I would have loved to see like the Jaguars make the Super Bowl, or the Texans, but some people just. Oof.
But I understand your ranking for Josh here, just based on kind of missed opportunities. He could have done more to this point.
Yep.
My number 4, this is for the upcoming season. It doesn't mean overall. Patrick Mahomes. I'm going to put him number 4. I think he's a great quarterback. I think that he does a lot without the best players around him. I think Rice is good. I think
He is good at
that
committing crimes.
Reed is an exceptional coach, and I think a huge amount of the success of the Chiefs goes to Andy Reid.
He also likes
Um,
cheese.
yeah, that's not all, but so
You
I think
want the whole burger.
I think Patrick Mahomes does a lot with the little that he's given. So I give him credit for that, but I don't necessarily see a dominant Patrick Mahomes this coming season.
Eh.
So I have him at number 4. I think he's still going to make the Chiefs a playoff team, but maybe not the crazy dominant team we saw from 2 years ago.
So now we get to number 3, right? Top 3. So I'm just gonna be honest right here. I'm a little bit biased. I do like the Bengals, so I'm gonna put Joe Burrow here, and I believe he could have won that Super Bowl against the Rams. Just stuff went wrong, and I do believe in him. Hopefully he gets a defense and an O line, or he's gonna pull an Andrew Luck on us soon. Um, but I would say he's a top. I'd say the top 5 for me are a little. You could switch maybe him around a bit. But this is, my personal ranking, so
Mm.
don't switch them around. But I'd say Joe Burrow fits nicely right there at 3.
Yeah, yeah, I think that makes sense. Based on what we've seen from him, what he's able to do, definitely a top 3 level quarterback. For me, I'm going with Lamar Jackson. I think that his ability to make plays, he can throw, he can run, he just finds ways to lead the offense and put up points. I think with that I've got him at my 3 here. I think as he gets older, maybe we see a little less running. I think as Derrick Henry gets a little older, slows down a little more. Um,
The king never
maybe
stops.
maybe their running game isn't as dominant, and he has to throw it a little more. So I think that opportunity, could really either solidify him as one of the best, or could expose him as maybe not as good as we thought he was.
All
So I
right.
think, um, but I've got him at my number 3. So let's move on to number 2.
So I have number 2. I have Patrick Mahomes, and I'm saying I'm gonna be honest right here a lot, but I am an honest person. I'd say. I very much dislike the Chiefs, so don't get that around your head. Don't get in a loop. I don't like Mahomes. I don't like the Chiefs. I don't like Reed. I don't like Kelsey. I don't like Rice. I don't like none of them. I don't like Worthy. I don't like a single one of their players. But I respect it. I respect Mahomes as one of the best quarterbacks we've seen in like this Super Bowl era. And just gonna put bias aside because he's good. And honestly, I could see him being the number 1 right now. But I don't know, maybe a little bit of bias. But just last year, we it's seeing Superman get hit by kryptonite. Like it looks like something happened and he went on the decline. So now you can say you're number 2. I think I've spoken
Yeah, I
enough
mean
right now.
and that's not a bad place to be, and then that's a lot of maturity in you being able to set aside any feelings you might have to really be honest with where you think he is. So um, I think 2 years ago we started to see the cracks. They had a great record, but there were so many games they won by the skin of their teeth, and then last year they just weren't able to win those games the same way. They didn't have the same luck. So I don't think there was necessarily a big difference in the level of play, just kind of in how things fell. But yeah, so I think that he's near the top, but maybe not the best anymore. For me, number 2, I'm going to go with Joe Burrow, and I would love to put him at number 1. I think he definitely can be the best. I think it's more of a question of if his offensive line gives him a chance to play a full season. And right now, banking on that they will, I think this is a Bengals team that can put up points and be exciting, and a Joe Burrows that can lead the Bengals back to the
They had
playoffs.
they had them last few games like that Cardinals game. They're just like Jamar Chase, T Higgins, Yosivas, Jaceki. They're like the most loaded on like wide receivers. I guess you could say that. I mean, the Rams, like a receiving core, they're definitely up there, like the Cowboys, Rams, but like I put Bengals one, like Yosivas, Jaceki, Higgins, Chase.
Yeah,
Even Chase Brown's pretty good at catching.
and we could do a wide receiver ranking here soon because
Yeah.
that's interesting to explore. But the Bengals are definitely near the top, and that definitely helps Joe Burrow to have that many weapons to throw to. But yeah, so I've got him at number two, just with the swagger and confidence he has, and the way he shows up, the way the pressure doesn't get to him. There's a different level that he plays at. But with all that said, all this build-up, we're getting to our number ones. And I think if you look at your list, there's only one name that could be number one on your list, and that is...
Lamar Jackson. All right, so I am an MC North fan and an AFC North fan, and I get that two of my top three are in the AFC North, and I don't care. They are one of like the top quarterbacks, but Lamar, you had him a little bit lower. I have him highest, and he's a great dual threat. He can chuck it, he can run it. He has that playmaker ability that most quarterbacks don't have, and that's why I put him up number one because I feel like it's him or Mahomes for me at number one. It's one of the two.
Yeah,
The other three aren't competing for that right now. The other three aren't close.
he has an ability that some of the others don't to extend a play.
Yeah.
When things don't go as planned, he can still make something out of it. And I think, that really helps keep the offense moving.
Yeah.
He keeps them going in the right direction, and they find ways to make plays, put up points, and really separate themselves. So I think that is a good choice for number one. I probably have, maybe this is lazy, maybe this is safe, but I think based on how he's played, I have to go with Josh Allen as my number one. I think that I think he is the best right now.
First off, no. Second off, my list is like a 10 out of 10. Yours is like a 3 out of 10. Like yours isn't even close to right.
And please help us out here. One of us is right, one of us is wrong. You tell us. Is it Sam with his list, or is it me with mine? I think Josh Allen is going to be the best this year. I think that he's going to throw for touchdowns. I think he's going to run for touchdowns. I think that the Bills' offense is going to be even more dominant.
And I think he will disappear immediately. Maybe like week 18, he's not there. Like just put away because he's a starter, and then he isn't there for the playoffs.
Last season, Shakir was his number one wide receiver. So I think when you put DJ Moore out there now,
DJ Moore's washed.
I think he's got a little juice left. I think that if they can get the most out of DJ Moore and Shakir can be a number two option, then I think that...
You underestimate Keon Coleman.
I am not even going to include Keon Coleman in my consideration, but I could see...
Wide receiver 7.
I could see a world where Moore gets double-digit touchdowns. I will go out and say that.
I could see a world where Josh Allen loses in the wild card, because that is every world. So yeah, that's just gonna wrap this little segment out. So obviously I won that because your list is complete and utter garbage, and mine is the only one that makes any logical sense.
I mean, I think they're pretty similar. I think that the differences are that you have Stafford and Love, and I have Lawrence and May. So I think that...
You have Daniels too. I don't have Daniels.
That's true. You have Darnold. I have Daniels. But yeah, so let us know which one's right, which one's wrong. I think we've got one last segment that we'll talk to just for a couple minutes.
So we finished last episode with the AFLE, the American Football League of Europe, and of course I've been watching that. I don't know about you. I feel like I'm more of the researcher in this on this podcast. But it was a good week. There's only 2 games, I think. But so
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest. My team is, or my time is divided, and at this point, we're kind of dredging the bottom of the barrel in the different leagues. My attention is split between like the FIFA World Cup,
ugh,
the baseball season in
boo.
full swing, and seeing the results that we have here. More looking forward to what we have coming up with the NCAA and NFL seasons. But yeah, we did have a couple European games. And of course, I had the bad luck of choosing to root for one of the worst teams
The Alpine
with
Rams.
Alpine. So I decided to cheer for them, and that was just a bad idea. Don't join me in that. Pick somebody else.
It's
Uh,
okay. You're used to your team sucking.
that's a fair point. As a lifelong Cardinals fan, and then moving to Ohio, where the Browns are kind of my adopted second team.
At least you can be a fan of the
I
Mammoth.
I think those are the two teams with the most losses. So I think that might be something that
Jets are
that
up there.
yeah.
Um.
But yeah, we had two games in the American Football League of Europe.
So what was this week? Week 6, it says. So the Ryan Fire again. If you've heard that before, NFL Europe had that. So they won 45-13 against our Alpine Rams, which was it sucks to see, but I am here on this Alpine journey with you. So then on Sunday, my other favorite team, the Panthers of Wroclaw, absolutely murdered the Friends Red Lions 48-7. And before we get into this, I just want to mention there are 2 major football leagues in Europe, the EFA and AFLE. And for some reason, they're the Prague Lions and the Friends Red Lions, and they're both in either like different leagues, but they are both disgustingly horrible. If you want a team to root for, do not pick either.
Yeah, that was a bloodbath in that score there, 48-7. You mentioned the other league, and I think it's interesting right now that both of these are competing for dominance. Like here in America, they're so well entrenched, with where they are. Um, but that doesn't seem to be the case in Europe. So if you find that compelling, then that is something to check out. And then maybe the EFA is the league for you.
The Gold Bowl. That is the favorite trophy game I've ever heard in my life. The Gold Bowl.
And you mentioned that two of the best teams just played each other, right?
Yes.
In the EFA.
So, are we gonna cover the EFA?
Sure. Let's cover it.
Yeah, we got a minute. So the EFA, the European Football Alliance, they had the Nordic Storm, who are 5-0, taking on the 4-0 Munich Ravens, my favorite EFA team, who are based in Germany, of course, the Munich, Germany. And I don't remember the score exactly, but I know it was close, 37-34, Munich won. So then going up, you can check the other one. So this one, so that was the battle of the undefeated teams. This was the battle of the winless teams, and this game was just as good, maybe even better. The
If you
Raiders,
like offense.
yeah, the Raiders of Tyrol and the Prague Lions, but I think everyone does like offense unless you're like a cornerback or something. Um, but it finished 45-44 with Prague getting their first win of the season, and they're now at 1-5, and Raiders are 0-5, which I guess Raiders just suck everywhere.
That seems to be the case, and so I think that was one of the things that made it interesting was the Munich and Nordic game where both teams were undefeated. This could have been the best matchup in European football this week, this season, this year. So to see those two play a close game and Munich come out on top, I think is worthy of note. And then the other game, the two teams that haven't won, and both seemed more set on giving it away. Um, 45-44. Neither defense was stopping anybody. But Prague, found a way to squeak that one out.
So just a second. When I was watching the highlights, which of course I watch every league's highlights, or I watch the live game, I was watching the highlights, and nearly every single comment was talking about the Raiders and Lions game, talking about how it's the best football game they've ever watched and that's the best game in EFA, the best game in Europe, like history. And to be honest, I don't disagree. I don't. Um, I like the AFLE a little bit more, but I don't hate the EFA. So just we didn't cover this one. So the Munich Ravens are 5-0, the 5-1 Nordic Storm, the 3-2 Paris Musketeers, the 2-3 Frankfurt Galaxy, the 1-5 Prague Lions, and the 0-5 Raiders of Tyrol. So, just a little bit of a standout. Paris has a team in both leagues, the Paris Musketeers and the Paris Lights, which is interesting.
So it sounds like in this league you are a Munich Ravens fan.
Yes, I do like Germany.
I, having always liked the Three Musketeers,
Oh, you're a Paris fan.
have to say the Paris Musketeers are the team for me. I probably
That's
just
nice.
doomed them, so if you're a Paris Musketeers fan, I apologize. But if I have to pick somebody, I don't, but if I'm going to, then that's going to be the team that I'm going to pull for.
Are you a
if-
Paris Lights fan in the AFLE then?
No,
Oh,
it's not about Paris. It's about being the Musketeers. That's what gets me. In the other league is Alpine, the Alpine Rams. That's my team that I picked for there.
Ooh, what about the CFL?
The CFL I haven't decided yet.
I'd say you get one in East, one in West.
It's tempting to go with the Elk, but then that feels like just jumping on the bandwagon based on their start.
Okay, first off, just clearing this up, I am not a bandwagon. I get that most people my age are bandwagon, and I know some of my friends are very much bandwagons. But I was going into the CFL, and I was like looking through the teams before the season started, and I was like, dang, Edmonton Eskimos. That is a good team name. And I've been like watching history videos about the CFL, and I was like, dang, well, I like the Eskimos. I like Native American history, so I went with them. Only to find out the Edmonton Elks, which I don't hate, but I do dislike. Bring back Native American names, please, y'all. But that's why I picked the Elks, and I picked Hamilton because they remind me of the Detroit Lions, and they're close.
So, and again, they play 18 games. So to get in after 3 games, I think that's relatively early. That's really early. So even if they have started 3-0,
Edmonton finishes 3-15.
If you want to go on record here and say that they're your team, I don't think that that's a big jump on the bandwagon. I think that's pretty early. So if that's what you want to say, like, I'm not going to give you a hard time.
Alright.
Now, if we're 12 weeks in and they're like 10-2,
I feel like you're giving vibes that you're like a Calgary Stampeders fan and an Ottawa Red Blacks fan. I could be entirely wrong, but you're giving off that vibe. You look very much like a Calgary fan. You just give that aura off you.
I wasn't really leaning towards either of those.
Dang, I suck. I'm not no mind reader. There's my future job plans, Dad. Thank you.
Yeah, you're not a psychic. I'm sorry, Sam.
Bye, crystal ball.
I don't know yet. I don't know.
Oh, he's gonna leave you on a cliffhanger, so you think about this forever. You'll wake up in the middle of the night and like a cold tear going, what did Dad pick?
I'll hold it back, and then we'll have a special podcast announcement when it's finally been determined.
So that's gonna do it for now. But I just wanted to say, our YouTube channel that's been growing a bit. Our most recent video, it got a lot of views, way more than usual, and we hit 20 subscribers. So just kind of thank you all for showing us support. It doesn't matter if you're here for one video and you're not here for the next. That is more our fault than yours. We want to captivate you, and that is our job doing this. And we just, at least me, I want to thank you for letting us live out this dream that I've wanted to do for a while, and I'm guessing you've probably wanted to do it. And it really is a dream come true. And 20 subscribers, it feels like a big milestone to me. Because you see all these big channels with more subscribers, but really starting this channel put it in perspective how hard it is to do a channel.
Yeah,
And it's just everyone out there who's doing a YouTube channel and are like keeping up with it. Just shout out to you. You're pouring your heart out into this,
yeah. There's a lot of work that goes into it, and a lot of it is behind the scenes.
and you don't get much
Like
back.
so, like the time it takes to record it is only a portion of the total time. So,
Yeah,
we really do enjoy doing this, and it's very rewarding to get support,
yeah.
from listeners. And so, if you like it and you want to let us know, that
Please
definitely
do.
is encouraging and means a lot. And it's exciting, as we work to grow this and bring more football content to everybody.
Yeah, but that's gonna do it for tonight. Glad to get this seventh episode recorded as we get near 10.
Yeah, yeah.
That's a pretty big milestone too, I'd say.
We'll probably look in the next few days to see if there's any breaking news headlines, and maybe come back with some more rankings, position wise, as
Yeah.
we wait for the new season. But yep, that's all for tonight then. Thank you, everyone.
Good night.